Hey guys, how you doing? It's lunchtime, so you know what that means. It's another great episode of Lunchtime Talk with Steve. Today we have a very controversial topic. I posted something about a week ago where I was asking, should a woman be able to use the money that is paid by the child support that's paid by dad number one to pay for the extracurricular activities for the for child number two if the child number two is not his. And I mean, we had people that were commenting on both sides. You know, the money is hers; she could do whatever she wants with it, all kinds of things. So what I did is I opened up the invitation for people to join the show, and let's talk about that. So you know what? We'll be right back in a moment, and we will talk about it. We would get down to the nitty gritty. All right. So take this time to share the link with your friends, your relatives, your favorite groups. Just let them know Steve is on Lunchtime Talk with Steve. I'll be right back with you. All right, and we are back. All right, so we have already have comments coming in. All right, so let's go ahead and introduce our guests. First, we have Dr. Mika Mears. How are you today, Dr. Mears?
I'm well, thanks for asking, Steve. How are you doing?
I am doing awesomely awesome. And
Awesome.
go ahead and introduce yourself to our viewers. Let them know who you are, and then we're going to bring our second guest in.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. My name is Dr. Mika Mears, and I am a professor at Nova Southeastern University and Broward College as well. I am very active in our community, and I advocate for civil rights, gender equality, um, and equality overall. I'm really happy to be here, and thanks for having me.
All right, thank you very much for being here.
You're
And
welcome.
then we're going to bring in Leah. Hey, Leah, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Awesome. Okay, now full disclosure, Leah is actually my daughter. So so this is going to be an interesting conversation. Go ahead, Leah. Tell my viewers who you are and a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Leah. Like you said, I'm his daughter. I just graduated from Boyd Anderson High School, and well, can you hear me properly?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. And I'm going to Santa Fe College for 2 years, and then transfer to UF. That's the goal for emergency medicine. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, perfect. All right, so let's get started. Let's jump right into the nitty gritty of things. Okay. Now we already had one person that posted, and she goes, or I think, yeah. So she said the money is 100% for the child. Okay, so now my question to my viewers and to you guys is if that money goes, let's say for example, if the child if I'm paying child support for child number one and child number two is not my child, but they want to take dance lessons, should the mom be able to use my money that I'm paying for my child to pay for the dance lessons of child number two if their dad can't afford it? Dr. Maris, I'll go with you first.
I think that the question is multi-layered and it's multifaceted. So, from the perspective of child support payments and the well-being of a child overall. Now, I'll say this, if a father is paying child support for his child, the funds are intended to do exactly that, fund anything that's for his child. It's important that we apply the funds where they should be because the support is for the child. So I strongly believe that, if a father's paying child support for a child, yes, it should go to their child because that's the purpose of child support, to make a payment for that particular child.
Okay, and Leah, what's your perspective on that?
I mean,
Leah,
it
can
was
you hear
kind of
me?
like what she was saying too. You have to
Go
yeah, can you
ahead.
hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
I was saying like what she was saying. You have to attend to necessities before going to extracurricular because that's what it's intended for. But if the parents do have, like, if all the parents, the dads and the mom, if they have that type of communication and connection that he's allowing it, then I don't see the problem. But if he's not told about the how it's going to be used for curricular too, then I don't think it's right. But if there's communication like how you and my mom communicate properly, then I think it should be fine.
Okay, so all right, so at what point then do we draw the line? Because a lot of people were saying, and I don't know if you guys were looking on the Facebook feed. There was a lot more response on Facebook than there was on LinkedIn when I posted it, and I think on there was a good amount of response on Instagram as well. But a lot of people were saying the money is for the woman to do whatever she wants to do with. Once you give her the money, that's it. You have no say in it. Should there be stipulations on what women do with or men for that matter? Because child support is paid in both directions. Should there be stipulations on what's done with child support once that parent pays it? Go ahead, Dr. Mersh.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I have a son, and of course, first and foremost, I'm a woman before I'm anything else. While I do understand the importance of taking care of oneself and one's household, I would be very unhappy, as a mother. I have a daughter as well. As a mother, as a wife, whatever the case is, we have to get to the bottom we have to just understand that as parents, we're setting examples for our children. Now, the issue of child support, of course, as you said, it is a very hot topic. And yes, people have, different feelings about it. But when a court sentences a father to make a payment for a child, it should not be abused. Unfortunately, you have a lot of women out there who think this is free money. And this is just a reason not to either work. This is a reason not to take care of their responsibilities or apply these funds where intended. And that is false, because child support is not only for the well-being of the child, but overall, I mean, child support, you could save that money for a child's college tuition, whatever the case is, but it should be used for that child. And unfortunately, a lot of women, I mean, I'm a woman, but I'm being fair here. A lot of women have given the whole child support, all the theories and conversations surrounding child support. A lot of women have given that a negative connotation. And I just think that, it's not fair. But there are, I'll say this, in everything you have situations where, for example, if one child's father has passed away and the mother has another child from somebody else, of course, as a mother, you want to be fair. You want to ensure that both children are taken care of. But, once again, as parents, we have fiscal responsibilities for, case in point, life insurance. Like if someone were to pass away, that child would get a portion of the life insurance for his father or her father to ensure that their well-being or their future is stable. So it's so many different layers to this, but unfortunately, I cannot agree that women should just do whatever, even if it's a father and a mother's paying the child support. A father should just do whatever with the funds. That's not right.
All right. And Leah, what do you say about that?
Well, what'd you say? There is a echo.
Yeah, no, I heard that really bad echo. What do you say about that? Is it just that it's the woman's money to do whatever she wants to do, and no one has anything to say about it, or how do we go? How do we go from there? And you actually have a unique perspective because you were a child of a parent that was receiving child support. So what do you think?
I mean, I don't know if it's only through the communication of parents or if it's through or if it's through the courts or anything like that. But from what I'm thinking, I feel like it's more of like a communication thing, like more of like a moral type of thing. So, I mean, in reality, once you get the money, or once they get the money, they can do whatever they want with it. But still, doesn't mean that it's right. I don't believe that it should be used before necessities or abused in any way. But it kind of reminds me of
let's go ahead. No, go ahead.
When children are adopted, the foster parents and everything, they get money. Usually, it's abused. It's not right that it's abused, but that's usually what happens.
Okay, so let's you said necessities, and Dr. Mears, you also mentioned necessities. What actually are considered the necessities? Of course, we know the light, the rent, the food; those things are necessities. But to some people, like we see the stars that their wives want more money in child support, and they're saying, well, it's a necessity for the child to have horseback riding lessons and ballet lessons, and they're considering these things necessities. So now they want $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a month because the child has to have all these things. Are those considered necessities? I mean, are those people that are asking for that much money, are they really, do you think that they should get that much money, or is it just being greedy?
It's just being greedy. And I'm just going to be very candid about that. So for me, I really believe that those are extracurricular activities. Those are not essential. Those, the various things that you just mentioned, they're not essential for survival. So basic necessities, those basic necessities are food, clothing, a roof, shelter, pretty much. And ensuring that a child can get back and forth to where their destinations safely, right? And even a car is a luxury, but it is more understandable for mothers having to or fathers having to transport their children to and from various locations for the safety of the child. Safety, that's a necessity. You know what I mean? And when I say food, clothes, shelter, etc., I'm talking about a quality education, because of course, there are variations in, education and food, everything. So I believe that, no, horseback riding, ballet, those are extracurricular activities. Those are not essential items, or those are not essential places that children have to attend. No.
What do you say, Leah, about that? Do you think it's do you think it's okay for women to ask for that much money when we see, people like, and I can't even think of any of them right now, but we saw it in the news where people are asking for, $40,000-$50,000 a month because, little Johnny needs to have fencing lessons and ballet lessons. Would you ask for some for that kind of money if you were a parent and the dad could afford it?
No, but then again, it's like, why am I guess it all depends on the amount. I've never really noticed or had to think about the amount that that's being given to the other parent. But personally, if I were the father or the parent giving the child support, I would want my kids to be in extracurricular, but I don't think it should be demanded. But as a parent, I would be like, okay, my kid's interested in gymnastics. I'm gonna put forth, or we could go half and half on the lessons or the practice or whatever it consists of. I don't think it should be demanded.
Can I say this? And Leah, I completely agree with you. I'll say this. So, child support is exactly what it says, child support. Mothers should be working to take care of their children as well. Let's hypothetically speak that both of these parents resided in the same place. It's a collaborative effort to raise children. Okay, it's not simply just, okay, here is money and I'm disconnected. It's a collaborative effort. Yes, it's important for children to receive care and funds to be able to have extracurricular activities, but $40,000-$50,000, that's a lifestyle that someone is asking somebody else to support. And, I have a real issue with that because, unfortunately, you have people who are solely reliant upon these men or women or child support funds, let's just put it like that, in order to survive. And I do not condone that, and I can't support it.
Okay, so before we go to the comments, because we're going to have a couple of comments in just a second, one quick question I wanted to ask as well. Should child support end when the child turns 18 if the situation did not change? The other parent situation did not change. So does child support end at the 18th birthday and it's just like, boom, that's it, you're done? Dr. Mears, I'll go to you first.
Yes, I believe child support is such a touchy subject because, first of all, it's so wrong, and I find it so problematic that a court has to force anyone to take care of their child. Like, it's ludicrous to me. I just don't have the verbiage for that. That's irresponsible to the highest level. It's irresponsible, So for me, I think that's wrong. But yes, 18, you're legally an adult. And yes, you can take care of yourself. Technically, you can get a job, etc. But I think loving parents will support their children without a court order, whether they're 18, 28, whatever the case is. So 18, yes, because a lot of people use the child support system maliciously and as a weapon when it was not created for that. So a lot needs to be regulated there because our men are getting a real bad rap with this child support system, and it's not right.
All right. And Leah, what do you think? Do you think it should end at 18 or what do you think?
It should definitely end at 18. Like she was saying, you become an adult at 18. And then say if it does continue under 18, when do you finally stop? When does other parents say, they have to do what they need to do? But like she was saying before, it shouldn't be that it should be like a contract to take care of your child. It should just come naturally that you should want to take care of your child on either side. Because after a while, that's what it tends to feel like, that it's court ordered.
All right. I'll be back with you guys in just one moment, and then we'll go ahead and check some of the comments that we're getting from our viewers. Okay. Let me tell you about CCTV RX. With over 30 years in the security industry here in South Florida, they have proven themselves to be the first choice when it comes to security professionals. So whether you're trying to secure your home or your business, there's no other choice. Give them a call today for a free estimate. 213-2820. If your car could talk, it would say call Curvin's Car Detailing Service. It's mobile and they can come to you no matter where you are in Broward County. Give Curvin a call, 954-549-8507, and tell him that Steve sent you. All right, guys, we're back, and we have a hot topic here today. We're talking about should there be stipulations on child support? When a parent receives child support, should there be stipulations on that? Right now, we're about to. Well, today we have two people with us. We have Leah Thompson Barrow, which is my daughter, and we have I'm proud of my daughter, and we have Dr. Mika Mears, and they're both right here with us. So let's go to some of the comments that we have. Juliet was saying, I believe the mom should use the money for both children, the education and essential things for each child's well-being. So basically, I guess she's saying that there shouldn't be a separation. I guess if one is in ballet, the other should be in ballet. I don't know. We'll ask Juliet to kind of clarify that. She also says, Dr. Mika, I do agree with you. One moment. She said, I do agree with your point of view. Also, there are women who will be less than accountable where the child support funds are concerned. And that's true too. There are a lot of people out there on both sides that would take that child support funds and use it for whatever, hair, nails, car, whatever the case may be. And then the little kid is still running around looking like, like we should be singing "We Are the World" or something. I don't know, but Arl said, I understand the funds are intended for that child, but in the household, this is not separate but equal. In that household, all the children should share and share alike. All right, so I hear what they're both saying, and for the basic necessities, of course, we're not going to say, your dad didn't pay, so you get macaroni and cheese, and your dad did pay, so you get lobster and steak. We're not going to say that. If everyone's eating lobster and steak is what's for dinner. If everyone's eating macaroni and cheese is what's for dinner. But when it comes to the extracurricular activities, that's where we're looking at. And also, what happens now? Let's throw another thing in this. What happens then if, let's say, for example, she has a new boyfriend? He doesn't work, but he's sitting in the house enjoying the air conditioned, the cable, the internet, and everything that your child support is paying for. Let's throw that in there. So let's go to Leah first, and let's see what Leah's saying about that one. What would you say, Lee?
I mean, what are you going to do with the boyfriend? Obviously you speak to the other parent, well, in this case, the mother, but I mean, you can't force him to get out. I don't know what you can do.
Well, but that's the thing, though. I mean, is there something that you can say to that parent where you can say, "Hey, I don't want your boyfriend in the house"? I mean, do you think there should be something that you can say to that parent?
Oh yeah, definitely, especially that your child's involved. But being realistic, how would you get him out the house? Because you can't say, "Oh well, since I feel like he's using up the money, then I'm going to cut down the child support." Because in many cases, partners are being brainwashed to think that that they'll put their partner superior over their children's well-being. So you can't even say they're going to cut down the child support because then that may directly affect the children.
All right, Dr. Mears, what do you say?
I believe that, okay, so as a woman, I'll say this. From a historical aspect, it's time for us to rise. And I see a lot of women doing that. And kudos to all of you women out there who are able to take care of your own, and you are holding it down and you are making moves, so congratulations to you. Now, I think once you're an able-bodied adult, you should contribute to a household in some capacity. Now, it is not a woman's responsibility, or child support, better yet, Somebody's paying money. Another man or another woman would not want to know that the funds that in which they're paying are going towards taken care of or shared. It's shared among a household where there is someone who lives there and they're not contributing to the household. That's not the purpose of child support. We have too many women who have struggled historically to take care of their children alone. And that's a whole nother lecture for a whole nother day. Why we have this system the way it is and why men can walk away or women can walk away from their families without even feeling, which it roots back to slavery, but we won't even go there. But I'll say this, it is very, very, very important for whatever monies are paid to a parent to take care of a child, they take care of that child. It's not for a boyfriend. It's not for a hairstyle. It's not for extracurricular activities for another child. But I do understand the well-being of the household is essential, but come on, jobs are for that. I need the mother to work. I need the father to work, because we have to be clear. It's not only mothers who are receiving child support payments, but fathers are also receiving child support payments. Okay. And oftentimes we don't discuss it, but you have a lot of males who are sole providers for their children, and they are responsible for their children, court ordered, they have the responsibility for their children, and they receive child support payments. So we have to ensure that these children are being taken care of, because as you said, Steve, you have kids who, they're running around looking any kind of way, yet their parents are receiving, or their parent is receiving support for them, and you cannot see that reflected in their education, their appearance, their nutrition, etc. So it's essential for us to use the funds for what they are intended for.
Now, Candace has a comment on here. Candace was saying, this is a dumb discussion. That's why you don't have children unless you can take care of them by yourself. She said, who the hell do you know where the funds, or how the hell do you know where the funds are going unless the child isn't being taken care of? Well, there are two comments, Candace. One is, you shouldn't have children with the expectation of taking care of it by yourself. You didn't make it by yourself.
That's right.
So there should never be an expectation of any parent, male or female, to take care of that child by themselves. As I said, Leah is my daughter, and I would tell her straight up front, you should not expect to take care of any child by yourself. That's why a child has two parents. So that's the first one. But the thing is, if the child isn't being taken care of, that's where the thing comes in. If you're seeing that that your child isn't being taken care of, but your ex has, I don't know, whatever, and you're thinking, well, wait a second, where's the money going? Now, the question really is the question that we're asking is, should there be stipulation? Should there be accountability for those funds? But let's see. So let's go. Candace also had another one, and she said any judge will let you know that you don't have any say in what goes on in someone's house, which is true. We don't have a say in it, but I still think that that there should be accountability. And Juliet says that this is a valid discussion, which it is. One of you had a comment. Who was it that had a comment?
I was going to say that judges may not know the intricacies of what occurs in a household, but the judicial system it helps to govern the household and what transpires inside of a household. For example, children are abused inside of a household, and the courts are there to regulate those types of abuse, or abuse, period. So yes, judges, they do have a say of what happens in households, and when they're assigning or awarding child support to a parent, first of all, it's for specific needs, and oftentimes it is spelled out what these funds should be used for. And, of course, we cannot strong arm someone, but that's why you file petitions and appeals, and you go back to court and you try to make adjustments to whatever payments, that you're allotted, or you try to change, whatever you see fit that's best for your household. But yes, judges, they have a say. If that were the case, you wouldn't have, people being removed from households, because if that were the case, how do they know what's going on in your house?
All right, good point. And Juliet was saying amen to that, Dr. Mika. So Leah, what do you say about Candace's comment? Do you think a woman should have a baby with the expectation of taking care of it on her own?
Oh, you're breaking up. I didn't know it was coming to me, but no, because I mean, things happen. You never know what's going to happen between a relationship or just the other parent. You never know what happens. So no.
But from her discussion, from her comment, she said that's why you don't have children unless you can take care of the child by yourself. What do you think about that comment?
Well, not everyone in the relationship is either financially equal. So say if things were going well and you guys plan on having a child, but even though not every relationship plans to have a child or not every child is planned, um, I don't know. I don't usually that's just not what's being thought of before a child comes.
All right. So my other question too that I wanted to ask about was, and Dr. Mika, you mentioned just a moment ago about the judge and about child support through the court. Should child support be court ordered, or should it be just something that's an agreement between the parents? Do we think that is this something that should be done through the court? I'll go with you first, Dr. Maris.
Okay, so as I previously mentioned, good parents, they don't need a court order, right? We don't need a court order at all because we understand what it takes to take care of a child. Now, should child support be ordered? It has to be for some folks because unfortunately, some people are so disconnected and they're so inhumane, they can walk away from their children without even looking back. And, that's very heartbreaking and it's disheartening on many levels because, children, they grow up to become adults and the perpetuation of social issues, it stems from childhood. We're only an adult size of what we were and a more developed and smarter, etc., of what we were as children. So it's important for parents to understand, especially when considering having children, which some people don't. As Leah mentioned, sometimes children just come, but it's important for us to understand that anyone that we decide to be with, we need to start thinking from the perspective of if I were to procreate with this individual, will this individual be able to take care of me as far as financially, emotionally, etc., because it's really not all about the money. Supporting a child is so much more than a fiscal responsibility. It's an emotional responsibility. It's an educational responsibility. There's so many layers to child support apart from money. So good parents, all they need to have is a conversation. But parents who are lackadaisical and have no consideration for children, yeah, they need to have a court order.
All right. Let's see. 1 second. All right. So I see Juliet actually has a comment up here. Juliet's comment says, "Steve, you may have to do a relationship topic, a part 2 to this," and I think we should, because I think one of the problems is how things go, how things are in the beginning. So I think that's one of the issues. Now Jennifer also has a comment here where Jennifer says child support helps to put food on the table and a roof over their head. How would you show where the money goes? Okay, and then Jennifer also had another one. No good parent should be court ordered to take care of their child, which is true. And just to be in the open again too, because this is one of the issues that we had on Facebook, where people thought that when I came up with the question that I was talking about me and my situation. No, I don't have a court order to take care of my daughter, and I take care of my daughter. I was divorced from her mom now, 10 years, 11 years going on, and I didn't have a court order to take care of her, and we never had a problem because, like Leah said, we had that communication. So that was the first thing. As a matter of fact, Lee, you have to drop off, right? You have your meeting with Broward College.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, because she's doing some.
Cobras. I graduated from Boyd Anderson as well.
Oh, that's cool.
That's great. And Leah was in the IB program at BA.
Okay,
All 4
awesome.
years.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, you're going to do great things, Leah. So kudos to you and your future. You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. All right, Leah. I'll talk to you later.
Talk to you later. Nice meeting you.
It was a pleasure, Leah.
All right. So yeah, she's gonna do some classes at BC before going to her classes at Santa Fe because Santa Fe is not open. So yeah, long story. You know how it goes already. We're actually gonna have some people on from BC from the admissions office
Okay.
coming up next week where they're going to talk about the new normal and how they're doing things, how the plans that they have for the classrooms. So
Right.
that's one of the things that we're going to talk about. So going back to what Jennifer was saying and also what Juliet was saying, I think one of the issues, and Candace also mentioned it earlier. One of the issues is that people are going into these relationships with it's almost like signing a prenup agreement. If, like Candace was saying, don't go into don't have a kid if you can't take care of it yourself. That's almost like a prenup. That's like a plan for the end of the marriage or a plan for the end of the relationship. It's like, okay, well, I'm planning that I'm going to have this child by myself in 4 years because you're not going to be around. I mean, you could go to a sperm bank and get sperm for that if you don't need a relationship for that. And I know it's easy for me to say as a man, and it's hard, and it's harder for women. But I mean, I can't see, and all people that know me, Juliet, and others that know me would tell you, I can't see a day going by without me talking to my daughter. You know, even though I lived almost 45 minutes away from her when she was younger, I would pick her up and drop her to school every single day because that was my way to spend time with my daughter and to talk to her and see what's going on in her life. So as a parent, I think one of the biggest things is obviously having that relationship with your child and talking to the other parent about different things, so where that person is before you have a kid with them. You want to know where their point of view and their mindset. Now, one of the issues that I do see, and this is something I'll let you touch on in a second, but one of the issues I do see is when these women get with a guy that has 3 kids from 3 different women and he's not taking care of those 3 kids, and then they start to think, well, I'm going to be different, he's going to take care of mine. No, he's not. He's already proven to you that he's not going to take care of any of them. So why is it that they're thinking that they're different? He's going to take care of your kid. I mean, what do you say, Dr. Mears?
You're absolutely right. So a relationship, or it's important to find out as much information as you can about someone before actually getting to the place of intimacy. And the reason I say that, and when I say intimacy, I'm talking about from a physical perspective, sex to be exact, because we are left as people, I can't say just women, but men as well, are left with the responsibilities of salvaging a relationship or trying to take care of a child, or some other issue may come up and we're, only if I knew. It's a method or a strategy to preserve oneself, right? So you find out as much as you can about someone. Of course, everything in life is a risk. Of course, you won't know certain things unless you're in a relationship. My husband and I have been together for almost 20 years. Okay, we have 2 children. Okay, he is an amazing father. Okay, everything academic he taught our children, and I'm the professor, but everything academic he taught our children. When he went away to college for his undergrad at Florida State University, he drove home every weekend. And I remember one time in particular, he said to me, honey, I don't know if I can do this much longer. Because you know what? I miss taking care of the kids. I miss the kids, me picking the kids up, like you said, Steve, from school and dropping them off in the morning and helping you to get them ready. I miss being there. So let me say this, you have great men out there. And oftentimes, like as you are, Steve, oftentimes, men get the bad rap, especially Black men,
Mhm.
and I want to say this for the record. as I said before, the ideas or the ideologies surrounding Black men being horrible fathers root back to slavery. It's something that was forced upon the minority community, the Black community, because before a child could even turn 1 year old, the child was ripped away from his and her mother or father, whatever the case is. But their families, they were sold different places. Why? So that bond could not be created. The perpetuation of what we have seen and what we continue to see is as a result of that. So I won't get into that, but I just wanted to put that out there. But as women or as people, as men as well, before getting into a relationship, we have to understand what we want in a relationship. We have to think from a futuristic perspective. We cannot solely pick someone for our needs today or what we see today. We have to almost be visionaries and choose someone or choose a partner for tomorrow, because you want someone that has the ability to grow with you, or you want to have someone that's, that has the ability to encourage you to grow, because of course nobody wants to stay stagnant in life, or no one should stay stagnant. We should grow, we should develop as we get older. And unfortunately, we see the guys, or we see the girls, or the hot guys, I should say, and the hot girls, and that's all we're looking at. And we make our decisions based on that. And hotness doesn't necessarily provide other important elements in that's needed in a relationship. So I would strongly encourage people, when deciding, I always tell my children, emotions will drive you to hell. Make intellectual decisions. Think about it. Okay, because you can love someone and not be with them. It's important. You can walk away from someone and totally love them, but you understand they're just not good for you nor your future. So I think it's time for us to really wise up, to get really, just to get in a sense of thinking strategic, thinking intellectually, and really caring about ourselves to the point where we say, you know what, I'm not only choosing for today, but I'm choosing for my tomorrow as well.
And that's true, because we see a lot of beautiful women out there. I'll just say that, and they may be fine and they have this and that, but they don't know how to cook, they don't know how to clean, they don't have any of these things, and they have no skills at all. And I'm not saying that that's what a woman should do, because a man should cook and clean and do different things too. They should share equally in it. But if she doesn't have anything to bring to the table except looks, then that's going to be a problem, because the way she looks at 20 is not the way she's going to look at 40. And and it's the same with guys too. If a woman sees a guy and they're like, oh my God, he has a nice car and he has all these expensive clothes and everything, that should tell you something. His money goes towards his car and his clothes. He doesn't have money for you and your kid. That should be a red flag.
I completely agree with you, Steve. I always say to my children, especially my son, because he's older and he'll be going to college soon, I always say to him, looks fade, okay? You have to choose based on characteristics. What is about this person that makes you feel that you can be with this person for a lifetime, right? Sometimes, things fluctuate in relationships, right? It starts out well or it starts out bad, whatever the case is. But it's so important to choose wisely. It's extremely important, because unfortunately we have too many people who are just choosing for today, as I said, and they're not thinking about tomorrow. And it's important to think about tomorrow.
All right, give me just 1 second for a quick commercial break, and I'll be right back with you guys, all right? Let me tell you about CCTV RX. With over 30 years in the security industry here in South Florida, they have proven themselves to be the first choice when it comes to security professionals. So whether you're trying to secure your home or your business, there's no other choice. Give them a call today for a free estimate. 754-213-2820.
Whoa, did you guys see that? If that happens to you, call me at 305-316-8815 and I will help connect you with people that will fight for you.
If your car could talk, it would say call Curvin's Car Detailing Service. It's mobile and they can come to you no matter where you are in Broward County. Give Curvin a call, 954-549-8815. 8507 and tell them that Steve sent you. All right, and we are back. Today's topic, we're talking about the accountability of child support. Should there be an accountability, and should there be stipulations? So let's go ahead and bring back in Dr. Mika Mears. Dr. Mears, all right. So, one of the other things too is we mentioned earlier about the court. Now, if a man does not pay child support for his child, he can, and I don't know in every state, but in the state of Florida, he can be arrested. His driver's license will be suspended. All these things that will happen. Now, are there any? And I'm actually trying to get a child support lawyer to come on the show. I've already reached out to her, but I'm waiting for a response. So we'll probably tackle this again in a couple of weeks with a natural attorney. But is there anything for if the guy is paying child support and the child is not being taken care of properly, or I shouldn't say properly because some people are going to say, well, if you feed them and they have a roof over their head, then that's taken care of properly. But I don't know if there's a recourse for that. I mean, I don't know. The guy gets in trouble if he doesn't pay. So what happens if he does pay and the woman doesn't take care of the kid? Then what happens there?
I think that's a very fair statement. And I just want to say, I'm going to touch on what you asked about, accountability for the receiver of the child support. You mentioned about 3 kids and, having somebody in the household or you meet a guy and he has 3 children, whatever. I'll say this because oftentimes, we ignore every sign there is as human beings. We have this idea, especially women, because we're nurturers innately. And we have this idea like, you know what, we can change this person or we can fix this person. The only person you can fix in this world is yourself. You are solely responsible for yourself. If you meet someone that has 3 different children, I don't care how many baby mothers he has, but has 3 different children, keep in mind, if you decide to have children with this person, those children also become yours as well if you're married, of course, or if you're living together. The responsibility is somewhat shared because as someone mentioned earlier, if you're taking care of a household, it's for the well-being of a household to an extent. Now, we have to be wise, okay? We have to be wise. You cannot get into a situation, knowingly get into a situation, and then complain about it. That is hypocrisy to the highest level. And it's just not right. It's foolish. That's exactly what it is. So if you know somebody has 3 children and you don't want to be the 4th, you don't want to provide him with or her with the 4th child, guess what? Move on. You have the right to choose who you think is best for your life and your future. As far as the accountabilities for mothers or fathers receiving child support payments, I'll say this. Yes, I believe there should be consequences in place for people who receive child support payments and do not use them for what they're intended for. I'm sorry, because at the end of the day, you have too many children who are deprived of various essentials, and it's not because of the lack of payment. It's because the money is not used wisely or for that child. Yes, because men are being hit left and right. And the reason I say men, it's because it's a predominant system of men. The masses of those who are on child support are males. And guess what? They are being treated unfairly because, women are abusing the funds that they are receiving. And it is not fair to the fathers at all.
Now, one of the things that I wanted to mention too, or one of the questions is, do you think that there should be a limit to the amount of the man or the female, whoever, income that's being taken for child support? Because I've heard of people, and I know of people who they take more than 50% of their income for child support. So then the other person, they can't really live because they're paying 50% of their income. And if you get a second job, they take money off of that as well. So should there be a limit to the amount of child support that they take?
I believe there should. Now, what the limit is, I cannot determine that. That's something that has to be factored in the court based on the earnings of both parents. But I believe that the judges have to understand, and they should factor, especially if there's an able-bodied person in front of them that's not working. I don't think that should weigh heavily as far as, oh, I'm going to give this person more money because they're unemployed. And I'm not talking about a situation where someone loses their job. That's different. I'm talking about a history of unemployment and living off of child support. I believe it should be factored and it should be taken into consideration. This person does not work. This person lives solely off of child support because it's not to take care of. And let me tell you this, guys, if you're watching, hear ye. Guys, understand who you are getting, like this new meme that's out there, in an entanglement with. Be wise. Be wise. Because guess what? She may be beautiful. But as you said, Steve, she has to bring more than lipstick and eyeliner to the table. Okay? Because these days women have, and kudos to you ladies out there, as you join, as we join forces to raise the bar of, what it is to be a woman, especially a woman of color. We are no longer sitting by the wayside waiting on opportunities. We are creating our own opportunities. We're not waiting for a seat in the boardroom. We are the people who are owning the boardrooms. So kudos to the ladies who are raising the bar. And for those of you who may still be in a slumber, I encourage you today to really, arise and wake up and raise the bar, because yes, your life matters, your future matters, and you're setting an example for the next generation, your children, okay, of what the world should look like and what it should be like as well.
Now, one of the things that you mentioned, and like Juliet said, we really have to do a relationship one. So I think we're going to have to put something like that, a panel like that together, because one of the things that you mentioned that we can actually do an entire show on is people trying to change people. You can't change anyone. People always say that, oh, I can change him, I could change her. No, you can't. I mean, it's like we try to change ourselves and we don't really change ourselves. So if we can't really change ourselves, how are we expecting to change someone else? And that's like one of the biggest things that I don't understand why people, and you're right, it's normally women that are trying to change the man. Oh, he cheats, but I'm going to change that. He beats me, but I'm going to change that. He drinks a lot, but I'm going to change that. He gambles, but I'm going to change that. No, you're not going to change him. And the thing is, what's so crazy is when people see the things that are out there and they see what the person is showing you. When a person shows you that this is their bad habit, it's not that they're showing it to you to change it. They're showing it to you to say, hey, I was transparent. I let you know before we got into something. That's your chance to run, people. I mean, seriously, like put on your shoes and be like Usain Bolt and run. Let me see. We have a comment on here. Shannon, she says, yes, speak it, Dr. Mears. And then she's talking about raising the bar. Check me on that. Okay, so Shannon, we appreciate your comments, and yes, you guys are right. Women have to know what they're looking for. Don't just accept the guy that comes along just because he may, be built or whatever. And that's one of the other issues. I hear so many women complaining about the guy that they have a kid with, or the this or the that. And women always say it, oh, there are no good men out there because of this. Well, it's not that there are no good men. It's just that the ones that you're attracted to and the ones that you keep choosing, those are the ones. But again, if they see that the man is showing them the same behavior as the one you just got out of a relationship with, you're not going to change them.
Absolutely.
Don't wait 4 or 5 years down the line in order to say, oh my God, I should have left. No, he showed you on day one, you should have left then. If you go out to dinner and he's picking up the check, trust me, you're gonna be picking up the check all the time. I'm sorry, if she's picking up the check, she's gonna be picking up the check all the time if he's not paying.
Right. I totally agree. You know, for me personally, my husband and I, we don't necessarily believe in gender roles and gender expectations, etc. You know, one thing I find to be rather intriguing, but it's very hypocritical. As human beings, we practice this all the time. We expect or we place expectations on others that we cannot fulfill ourselves. For example, you will have women that say, "Oh, I want a rich man," but you're not rich. Oh, I want a man that's educated, but you're not educated. Oh, I want this, but you cannot fulfill what you're asking for. It's hypocrisy at its highest level, and we have to stop. Whatever you are and whatever you can produce, you know, or whatever you're willing to reciprocate, yes, then you can ask for that. But I don't think it's fair to place unfair expectations or unrealistic expectations in choosing a spouse or a mate, you know, because that's where a lot of conflict comes from as well. You know, because oftentimes our reasons for entering into relationships or entanglements are, you know, they're all warped, they're all wrong. So we
Yes.
really want to check ourselves and ask, okay, what I'm asking for, if you want someone honest, you shouldn't lie. Okay? So you have to be able to produce what you are expecting of others, or at least be willing to do so. But unfortunately, we have a really bad, when it comes to relationship, there's so much to say about that. But we have to really raise the bar, as I said before, and we have to start making really wise decisions, because we can't ask for what we're not willing to give.
And it's true because we always say we want, like you just said, woman says she wants a rich man. Okay, but there's no rich man going around saying, "Oh, I want a broke woman." That's not
Exactly.
gonna happen. You
Right.
know, I mean, let's be for real. I'm overweight. I don't see that many size 2 women going, "Oh my God, I want a fat guy." So as much as I might look at the women on the videos and I say, "Oh wow, she's fine," I mean, realistically, we're gonna look for what we want in that person, and we're gonna
Absolutely.
ignore the signs that says run. Because if you're 80, let's take Anna Nicole Smith. If that man is 90 years old and Anna Nicole Smith, a bombshell is coming to him, he knows obviously it's not for his body, it's not for the conversation, it's just for the money. And she knows very well that as dingy as she was, he wasn't looking for the stimulating conversation. So again, people are looking for certain things in a relationship. Don't settle, and I'm telling this today to people out there, don't settle for something that you think is going to be a problem later on. You know, I mean, you already see the signs, you already see the person only wants you for whatever reason. That's all they want you for. Don't settle. You
Absolutely.
know, these
Absolutely. I
these
completely
these.
I
Go ahead.
completely agree with you, Steve. And when you see those signs, you got to change you have to make decisions as far as, okay, you know how at work they put you on a performance improvement plan, and if you don't,
Right.
you get fired. You give them an opportunity to correct his or her mistake. But guess what? After that opportunity, if progress is not made, some real progress, you know, not excuses that we make in our minds for others, but real progress, if tangible, measurable progress is not made, then you got to fire them. It's just what it is. And it's only fair, because your life is worth living. It should not take you 20 years to be with someone that has not changed, that's been the same since day one. Everything is wrong with that. And unfortunately, as women, we forfeit our lives and make excuses for men, you know, or women who are, you know, who are dead weights in our lives. So it's time
Hmm.
for us to wake up, ladies. It's time for us to raise the bar, as I previously said, and exceed expectations.
And one of the things that we have to look at as well is, like you're saying, when you have expectations in life, if you want to be, and I'll just use you as an example, and I don't know what your husband does, but I'm just going to use you as an example. If you knew from the time you went into college that you want to be a doctor, you want to have, a PhD in education, and you want to, and these are, your aspirations, but all this guy wants to do is, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being a handyman, but the thing is, when you're going to your meeting, when you're going to the Christmas parties and everything, he's going to kind of feel a little bit out of place. He's going to feel like everyone else in here is a scholar and they're talking about different things, and even though he deserves to be in that room, people are going to still make him feel a certain way. So now that's going to drive a wedge between you and him. So my whole thing is people have to start to realize that you have to look at things like your job. You have to look at things like your aspirations in life. We're going to do a relationship one on this here and I'm going to bring people on because the reason why I'm saying these things is I know people who have had situations like this. And I know a few of them that would actually be willing to be on the show. So we'll bring some of them on and they'll talk about how that drove a wedge between them and also how it made, them feel a certain way. But it's almost time for us to run. Paulo said she'll watch the replay. Sorry she missed it. But I want to have you back on here again when we're talking about the relationships because I like the idea that you're very fair and open about your comments. I think a lot of times what happens is people tend to only speak from a perspective of the situation that they're in, instead of looking at it, through different lenses and also looking at it from different points of views. I think that that's what makes it so. That's what makes a conversation worth having when people can look at different point of views and look at it through different lenses. So I really appreciate you being, open and fair, if you will.
My pleasure.
All right, now, are there any last words, 1 minute wrap up for my viewers?
Well, I just want to tell everyone thank you for watching and tuning in today. As I previously said, it's time for all of us to raise the bar as people. Right now we're in an epoch where our social climate is really challenging us, to be moral, to be ethical, and to be fair, to be equal, because Black lives do matter. All lives matter, yes, but all lives include Black lives. So I really, really, really encourage everyone just to continue to raise the bar, speak up, say something if you see something. As far as relationships are concerned, be wise when choosing your relationships because they're going to determine the issues you have in the future. So don't allow anything to catch you off guard. When you see red flags, you address them. If no changes are made, then guess what? You fire them. So I just want to thank you once again for having me on here. And I look forward to being on, future platforms with you all. And I hope everyone have a fantastic day. I can't hear you.
Sorry about that. I would say thank you for being on. I will definitely have you back again when we talk about relationships because I really think you bring a lot to the table. So we'll be in touch and we'll talk about planning that next panel. Okay.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, Steve.
Thanks, you too. All right, guys. So again, I like to try to bring you guys some information. We had a lot of information today from Dr. Mears. She gave us a whole lot to think about. And again, like I said, she brought it to us from different points of view. And that's what I like, because most of the times we only think about what we're experiencing. We don't think about the other person experiencing. And to hear it again from her and from Leah. Leah had a different perspective as well, because like I said, she is 18 years old and she's a child of me paying child support. So thanks, Leah. Thanks, Dr. Mears. Thank you guys for both being on the show. I thank my advertisers, CCTV RX and Kervin's Car Wash. I thank you both for supporting the show. If any of you guys out there want to advertise on the show, definitely just inbox me, send me an email. You can get my contact information right there on our website, lunchtimetalkwithsteve.com. You can inbox me on Facebook. You can send me a text at 954-801-0429. Either way that you want to do it, reach out to me. Let's get your commercial on the air. This show is going places. We are being seen worldwide, and every day our audience keeps growing and growing and growing. You definitely want to be a part of that, and you want your product and service to be seen. So go ahead and reach out to us. Let's get your commercial on the air. All right, I'll be right back with you guys for a couple last minute words. All right. Let me tell you about CCTV RX. With over 30 years in the security industry here in South Florida, they have proven themselves to be the first choice when it comes to security professionals. So whether you're trying to secure your home or your business, there's no other choice. Give them a call today for a free estimate. 754-213-2820. If your car could talk, it would say call Curvin's Car Detailing Service. It's mobile and they can come to you no matter where you are in Broward County. Give Curvin a call, 954-549-8507, and tell him that Steve sent you. All right, so we're back. And as always, I'd like to tell you guys, take care of each other, right? I was looking on the news the other day, and I guess someone else probably mentioned it, or maybe the reporter probably thought about it or whatever, because he actually said that the reason why we don't see people walking up to the food lines is because they don't allow walk-ups. So I always tell you guys at the end of the show to reach out to someone if the person that lives in your neighborhood or your relative or friend or whoever does not have a vehicle. They need to get to that food line. Please help them out. Go out there, take them to the food line, or either way, go out to the line and bring it back to them. However you need to do it, just reach out and help somebody, okay? You are your brother's keeper. We do not have the luxury of saying, I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that, because one day it's going to be you that needs that help, and you're not going to want someone to tell you, I'm not going to help you. All right, guys, as always, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Peace, people. La la la